Hello, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting. I've got a no sentiment project here. This little project does not need any sentiment whatsoever. I didn't want to cover this with anything because it would just cover up the absolutely beautiful DSP. This is some DSP from our new autumn winter catalogue. I'll show you some other bits and pieces that are in there. So this is the old olive, and that's copper on the top of that. Also in that range is this. I can't wait to use that, and I don't quite yet know what I'm going to do with that. I'll show you some other bits that are in that DSP. It's just absolutely stunning. That's just lovely. And the back of it, so that's more matte if you wanted to have a nice background. And this has got some lovely copper stars on it. We've got this, so not particularly Christmassy, all of this. I mean, that's Christmassy, and you could probably pretty much say that's Christmassy because it's got holly and berries on it. But that nice non-Christmas, you could use it for either. It's the fact that it's got the shine on it. This is gorgeous. This is just absolutely beautiful. It's got the copper on it, and this absolutely lovely pretty peacock colour. It's just, look at the shine on that, just stunning. Are there any more? Yeah, then we have another shiny one here. And again, not necessarily Christmas. Lovely stripe, absolutely lovely stripe. There's nice background. And have I missed anything out? No, so that's it. So that comes in a pack of 12 by 12, and I believe there are 2 sheets of each. So 6 designs, 2 sheets of each. Absolutely lovely. And I thought I would just start off with a really basic project, but sort that light out. Oh dear, that's better. But really nice perhaps for a Christmas table or put in a gift. It's quite a big box. It is, let's just measure that, over 4.5 inches high, and this is 1 3/8 square, so it's a good size base. You could fill that with some sweets, or maybe an item of jewellery, or you know, just like a small gift. And you could also hang this from the tree as well if you wanted to. So I'm going to show you how to make that. So I've made these little gift bags before, and I've put a sentiment on the front, and I'm not with this. I do not want to cover up that design. Anyway, let's get going with it. So you can make 4 of these out of 1 sheet of 12 by 12, which is really good. I like it when you can make more than one thing out of a sheet of 12 by 12, and no waste, even better. So we need to put some score lines on this first. So I've got my trimmer to do that. I would normally use my scoreboard. Let's get my scoreboard out because the trimmer is no longer available. We've got a new trimmer coming out, and there will be details to that on my blog very soon. Head over to my blog at www.taffycrafting.blogspot.co.uk. So there's my piece of DSP. There's no direction to this pattern. It doesn't matter what way it goes in, but if you have got a direction to your paper, you need to be aware of what direction it's going in. So our first score line, the direction of your paper, this is the top, and it's going that way. So that's the top, that's the bottom. So our first score line is 1 3/8. And then you're going to turn it clockwise. So that's the bottom, that's the top. So if you're turning this round, make sure that you can see that your pattern is going the correct way. So we need to make some other score lines. Now, just before I do this, I just do need to give some credit to this project. This comes from Kim Price. I found this on YouTube, and I've used this project so many times because it just highlights some beautiful DSP perfectly. So the next score line, so I've turned it round once clockwise, 90 degrees, 1 3/8 just to the first score line there. And then we want 2 3/4 all the way down, 4 1/8 just to the first score line, and 5 1/2. And that's it. And that's what I like about this project, is its simplicity. Now we're going to fold and burnish. I'm not going to burnish with a bone folder because with this lovely DSP I don't want to ruin it. So just fold those long lines there because we're actually going to cut up these shorter score lines. So I'm going to turn it this way so it's easier to see. So I've got a thin rectangle there and then this little tiny rectangle here, and the first thing I'm going to do is actually get rid of that little rectangle on the bottom there, and then I'm going to cut diagonally into that one because we are creating our tab that's going to hold all of this together. And I'm just going to then cut diagonally from that first score line to there. So what I'm left with is that, and that helps us attach it all together. So I've got 1, 2, 3 score lines here, and I'm just going to cut up each of those to the first score line. Now if you want to, you can round off the corners of this second one. So there's your tab to hold it together. There's your second flap that's on the bottom of your bag, and if you want to, you can round them off. I've tried rounding them off using the trio punch or the envelope punch board, but it's just awkward, and I'm just going to do it with a pair of scissors like that. That's all you need to do. It's just so much easier, so less faff. Just round that like that. So we need to get some tape. So there's our little skinny rectangle, and there are our flaps there. So the first thing I'm going to do on the outside of the bag, I'm just going to run some tear and tape right on that score line. Those of you that have watched a lot of my videos will know that I have used this technique before with this box, but again I just wanted to showcase. If you wonder what I'm doing off camera, I've got totally stuck up with my tear and tape. It's just to showcase this is the perfect way of doing it. So we've got that, and then I want to turn this round, and our rounded corner flap, just going to put 2 pieces of tear and tape, one at the top of it and one at the bottom. So fold over that tab there, and I've put my pokey tool somewhere. You know when you put something somewhere safe and you think, yeah, I'll find that. Not a hope in hell's chance did I find that. Don't know why I didn't put it with all of my other tools. That would just be too obvious. So I've just taken off the backing piece of that tear and tape there, and I'm going to bring this over, and that meets there. That's actually done that quite well. If you've got good accurate score lines, that works a treat. If you do find you've got a little bit of overlap, just trim it. That's all you need to do with that. Just trim it off. So what you have now here, you can see that, is that. But the opening goes that way, but our flaps want to go the other way. I'll show you what we're going to do with those in a minute. But first, this is the top of your box. Now, if you've got a hole punch, I've got a little 1/2 inch hole punch. And I'm just going to just eyeball that in the middle. And then what I'm going to do, that's also in the spring, not in the spring, summer, autumn, winter catalogue, is this lovely, very vanilla, but with the copper writing on it. And you want about 12 inches of that. Don't need any more than 12 inches of that. And then cut that off and cut it diagonally so that it doesn't fray. Using some decent scissors would help as well. So I've just cut that on the diagonal there. So I'm going to fold that in half like that. so that the script is on the outside. And then those two ends, I'm going to poke those through that hole. If you're using thinner ribbon, you'll want to use a smaller hole punch, but I've used this bigger one just because this ribbon is a bit thick. So I've got that. So what I'm going to do is from the back, put my fingers through that loop and collect those two ends and tie it up. So when you turn it round, and it's just easy then to undo when you want to fill this with your treats. So the bottom, just then push that open like that. Find your one with the rounded corner, yes, rounded corners. Push in the two that are adjacent to it, and then push in the one that's opposite it. And then you take off the backing, which I probably should have done first. This will work so much better with the pokey tool, but use anything like anything that's got a little bit of a point to it. So scissors are ideal. I can't get hold of that. It's better. So this is the last one that goes down. And there you have your box. Just really, really easy to make. Now, if you did want to put a sentiment on the front, you could perhaps use a circle using some old olive card, and then perhaps put some heat embossed label on it. It's up to you, but I don't actually want to spoil that. I'd love to have a few of those just hanging from my tree, ready for Christmas Day for people to take off, and it filled with treats if they're all the same. So a nice, simple, easy project there. Just a few score lines and a bit of glue, and hey presto, you've got a really cute box that you can use for any occasion, Christmas, birthday. It will suit any occasion whatsoever, depending on the DSP that you've used. I've hoped you've enjoyed this project. The link to my blog is in the description bar below, where it have all of the details of products that I've used, and also dimensions as well. If you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and come along and subscribe. I'll be back again soon with another project. Thanks. Bye bye.